We'll start with one quick trick just to get you interested, and that is that you can actually pop out the curves to get a bigger display here. So now that we have this nice big version, let's talk about what this actually does. The curves tool works by displaying the input values on the x-axis down here and the output values on the y-axis, and it maps between those two using this curve here. So we can see what that means if I pull up a gradient here. And now if we look at our scopes, which I can also pop out, you can see that our waveform perfectly tracks our curves output. So you see black on the left, white on the right, and you see if we put points on here, that changes and updates right along with it. So it tracks that just right. And it even works if we split this out into the parade, and you see affecting all the channels similarly there. So not only can you adjust the overall contrast of the image like this, but you can also split this out into the individual channels. So here you can see we're just adjusting one curve at a time. And then we can go ahead and reset this. And now if we adjust the top and bottom points in our curve, that works just like the gain and lift controls in our primary wheels. So now here, if we adjust the top point in our curve, you see that moves our waveform just like the curve. And if we adjust the gain in our primaries wheels, that does the exact same thing. And you see the lift operates the exact same as just moving our bottom point. So if you're familiar with those controls, that's what those do. And now in the middle is where we can really start to get funny, because if we adjust our gamma, see we've got some control over that, but in our curves, we can put multiple points here. So this is where the power really starts to come in line. All right, now hopping back to our footage, let's take a look at what we can do here. Now that we have a little more normal thing to work with, if we adjust this, you can see the histogram inside our curve moves along to show the output of our image. So you can see if we were to pull this up until we're kind of clipping at the top, there's the output. If that's not what you want to see, you can also change this to histogram, show the input. And now, no matter what we do, it'll still show the input values. So if we wanted to kind of target a particular part of the image, like just our highlights here, we could do that and be able to always know where those are at. So you see, we can just pin our input there, and that doesn't change, so we can keep seeing those if we wanted to move our shadows a little bit. But generally, you'll leave this on either output, or if you're on a lower performance system, you can also turn this off, and then they go away, and you aren't even distracted. So that can also look a little nicer too. But I generally just leave this to output, and that does what we need. And even more powerful than looking at the histogram, we can also just click right on the image and pick some points. Now you'll see we're getting multiple colors here. So we've got our luminance channel, our green channel, our blue channel, and our red channel. So the point I selected represents all of these things. You see if I move one of these, they all go away. So what we can do is we can actually ungang our curve. So here they're all linked together. If we ungang them, now we can adjust the channels individually. So we can do just our luminance channel. And Resolve actually has some special sauce here with just the luminance channel, where it's actually adjusting just the luminance of the image and not adjusting the contrast. So that's part of the special sauce of Davinci Resolve's YRGB processing, is you can add contrast to the luminance without adding extra saturation. So you can see how the colors stay in line, and we just increased the contrast of the luminance there. While if we do a curves in Photoshop and we add contrast, you can see that that's also increasing the saturation. So that's an important thing to remember whenever adjusting curves in Davinci Resolve versus other stuff. So going back to here, let's make that same adjustment again on just our luminance channel. We'll get it relatively similar. If I tab back over here, you can see just how different those colors are, where it's a lot more natural here. And if we gang these together, then you can see we're getting our same kind of Photoshop-like result where it increases the saturation. So now that we're able to ungang these curves, we can do other things like start to adjust our color some. So if I, for example, want to pull a little bit of green out of our face, this will be a luminance-based adjustment of saturation. So this will be adjusting the green amount in this particular luminance value of the image. But that can be a nice subtle way to adjust stuff. So if I pull this down a little bit, we're getting a little more magenta in her skin. Now here's a little pro bonus tip for you guys who already know a lot of this stuff. If you hold down Alt or Option, it will snap the point back to the neutral point. So here you see I've got this. If I want to get it back to the neutral point, I can kind of get it there. I can also, reset the channel, or I can hold down Alt and just get it close, and it snaps in place. And then you can also drag along here if you want. So there you can see we can make some nice subtle adjustments to her skin there, kind of give her a little more life, which is a little bit of changing the color channels per the luminance value. And see, these are nice, smooth, easy adjustments that are easy to apply throughout stuff and won't break your image. As you get more experience playing with the individual colors channels like this, you'll also be able to see the adjustments you need to make better. Since, you know, our images are just made up of red, green, and blue channels, you can do everything you need with just red, green, and blue controls, basically. And all our tools in here are just different ways of adjusting those channels. So the more we play with them, the more we'll be able to see the red, green, and blue components, and also the yellow, cyan, and magenta secondaries. So like, for example, when I wanted to add yellow to her skin, I took blue out. You can also use curves like this for white balancing. So if before this, I go and I mess up the white balance a little bit. So I'll do this by looking at the waveform monitor. You can see we've got way too much red, so I can bring the reds down a good bit until that's more in line with green. I'll bring the blues up a good little bit until that's more in line. And now we're able to white balance the image a little bit. And I did that just by looking down at the brighter parts of the image in my waveform, getting those a little closer together just by using the curves. And of course, if you get different casts and stuff, then you can really make more fine adjustments than just using your other primaries controls or camera raw controls or whatever you want. So I use curves for a lot of targeted corrections like that, where I just need to massage things into place and be really surgical with stuff, because curves isn't the fastest way to adjust an image, but it's one of your more precise and powerful ways of adjusting an image. So you can do most things with these YRGB curves, which is why they get their whole own video. And another little tip for you as you get even more comfortable with this is, let's say we are making a little look here. As you want to get even more precise, what we can do is go up here and go to editable splines. And now we can really make some adjustments. So instead of having these two control points here, what I can do instead is I can right click to remove points. So I can click on our end points and I can just adjust the splines, which will make it an even nicer, smoother transition there. So even fewer control points. So that is a really nice thing to be able to do. You can add some red in there just for fun since I'm having a good time. And it should be noted that as I was writing this tutorial, I came up with a whole bunch of fun looks and grades that I packaged up in some power grades and LUTs that I put on my website if you want to check those out and support making these videos. I think they're pretty neat, and you can open them up and you can see some interesting tricks. So if let's see, skate park's a good one. Apply grade, you can see some interesting stuff that's gone with the curves. Shameless self-promotion over. So as you're playing with your looks, another thing you can do is over on the right, you see we've got these other controls, and these adjust the amount of influence that your changes have. So here, if we want less luminance on there, less of that adjustment, we can bring that down, bring it up, or bring our red adjustment down. And you can kind of dial it in to fit what you're wanting a little more. So if you overdo it, which is, you know, we all do it, then you can bring it back and kind of make it a little bit softer. Speaking of soft, down below we have these soft clip controls, which I'll go ahead and reset all grades and nodes to get them back to how they normally look. And we'll keep a look down at our waveform as well. Make this a little smaller. What these do is they both roll off and clip the lowest and highest points of the image. So here you can see, if we look down at our scopes, if I adjust our low clip up, you see that is clipping the bottom of our image there, the darkest parts, and making those milky shadows. So that is a very filmy thing to do. And then if you want to do a little more subtle job of that, we have this low soft, and this adjusts the hysteresis or knee of the adjustment. So you can see, if we once again look down our waveform as well, if we adjust the high soft, you see that is softening out that correction. Well, before the soft clip is doing something like this and make a really hard transition, what the soft does is it lets that transition take place over a longer distance, which helps smooth it out. So you can play with those things together to help get those low and high clipping effects that you're kind of wanting. Not only can these be used for creative looks, you can also use these to help recover stuff. So here, I'm going to go ahead and just really clip the heck out of this. So let's say in a previous adjustment, we have really blown stuff out. And here, if we adjust our high soft, you can see that's bring it back down. And now, even though we're so broad, have detail in all those areas, you can see it's not even clipping up here. And we can still bring this down even further, and that's kind of starting to wash it out and make it look like a certain kind of a filminess. But here we can make it so it's just rolling off those top ones. If your footage is clipped, this probably won't recover highlights from you unless you have really nice footage. So it's worth a try, but if you're recording 8 bits, you're probably screwed. If you're recording 10 bits, you can maybe pull a little bit back using this high soft control. So it's a good thing to try out. Another thing is that if you're trying to build a look that has more clippiness to it, whether for whatever effect you're wanting to go for, to do Davinci Resolve's 32-bit internal processing, it can be hard to force it to clip. So what you can do is actually, in a node before the node that you're going to be using your soft clip controls in, you can just nudge these any amount. So you see nothing has changed to the image, but now that I've touched those, if I try to do the high soft and recover those things, we're staying clipped here. So that can be what happens if you have footage that's clipped, or if you're just wanting to actually clip stuff, because sometimes you need to clip stuff. And it can be frustrating to fight against Resolve being so good at keeping all the detail. So that's how you force it. Or alternatively, if you're pushing your grade and you're trying to recover earlier on, you might have accidentally touched the soft clips controls, and that would be clipping you a little bit. So be sure that those are zeroed out if you're having those issues. Another way I like to think about these is as a limiter. So since we're clipping there, this needs to be the way to get you back to being legal and not clipping anymore. So it's a nice way to help save yourself, especially if you put that in like a timeline grade and just kind of make sure that stuff is within your boundaries and have a second layer of defense. If you have some really strict broadcast guidelines you're going for, this is a nice way to just kind of force stuff in there, which you may or may not have been there, where people are being picky and it doesn't matter if it looks good anymore. It just needs to be compliant. And this is a good way to just make it compliant. Okay, that's the bulk of the most important stuff. Now I'll just get to some rapid fire tips and then my favorite party trick at the very end, because it's not that useful, but it is fun. So we'll save it for the end. So here are some rapid fire tips. We have these controls on the side, which are called YSFX sliders. And those allow you to narrow both the top and bottom at the same time. And not only will it let you adjust both of those down to be that kind of low contrast look, you can even flip them and you can invert your image. So this is a really fast way if you need to quickly invert an image instead of trying to go to, I think there's like an invert effect. Yeah, instead of trying to go to like the invert color effect, what you can do is you can just do that here. So we gang these and we can invert them. So it does that same thing. Or you can also just invert an individual channel. So if you wanted the reds inverted for some reason, that's kind of a look. It's a little pop art, which can be cool too. You can also add default anchors. I don't find this particularly useful at all, but you can do it if you want to. It's just kind of preset points to make looks from, but I find it easier to just click on the point in the image that I want and then adjust accordingly. A little gotcha here is that if you have a cool look that you like and then you regang your curves and you edit one of these control points, it's going to snap them all together and undo all your work. So make sure that you do your combined adjustments before your individual adjustments. And another fun little thing is in the studio version of Resolve, you can enable and disable HDR mode in here, which just kind of changes how the curves work a little bit. So you see with HDR mode on, we're getting this. HDR mode off, we're getting some more clipping and milkiness. It's just kind of adjusting the scale here, which is not what we want. So that's a fun thing to play with if you're playing with looks, or you're actually doing HDR stuff for real. But I find that I'm using this a lot more for just making interesting looks. Now, okay, here we come. What we're all waiting for is my favorite party trick. So you see we've got our individual channels, Y, R, G, and B, and normally our corrector nodes are working in that same color space. But if we change our node color space to something like YUV, which is luminance and then two difference channels, you see if we adjust our red channel here, that's just like adjusting our luminance. But then if we adjust our green channel, that is like adjusting one of our change channels. So you see it's getting a completely different look where we're adjusting the contrast between two channels here. So if I take our green all the way down, we basically have a free 2 strip. Let me get this cat off the desk. She doesn't belong on the desk. Or we can do the same thing with the blue. So it's a really fun thing to play with here and see what kind of looks you get. So here if we do it up like this, it's kind of like a interesting way to increase the saturation, do some neat stuff there. Or let's say that we've even got something together that we like all right in this color space. Let's just try and see what happens if we do something else crazy. Like what if I change this to HSV? So it'll be hue, saturation, and value. So this will be completely different. It'll look bad, but look, it's kind of a like old TV effect. Interesting. We change this to XYZ. Look at that, completely different. So it's a fun way to kind of play with stuff and see how it works. It also helps you understand how the different weird color spaces like actually kind of work, which is fun. So here we've got just like a really quick like way to make like this kind of like cool, like matrixy, sci-fi, lo-fi look that I'm like kind of into. Actually kind of like that. So I'll go ahead and just add that to the pack of looks that I have. So once again, I'll put these up on the website. If you want to play around or just get some cool looks, they'll be up there for you. And the more people that download them, the more inspiration I have to make the next video.